Many of us have heard the term, leaves of three, leave them be, referring to poison ivy. But along our riverbanks come these pesky plants known as giant hogweed and wild parsnip. Both are extremely poisonous plants, and if you come in contact with them, you could experience severe burns to your skin, and if it gets in your eyes, it can actually cause temporary or permanent blindness.
All right, giant hogweed is a concern because it's a noxious weed, so it threatens our biodiversity, but it's also a human health hazard because it has sap that sensitizes human skin to sunlight. So it causes a problem both for our wildlife and for us humans.
Giant hogweed has small toothed or serrated-like leaves, and when it's fully bloomed, it has a giant white flower and grows a minimum of 5 feet tall.
Some key points to look for on the plants are these hairs along the stem here. There's little hairs, kind of like cacti hairs, and then the purple mottling. So there's purple spots all the way up and down, and the closer to the bottom of the plant you get, the more solid the purple is. So those are some key points you want to look for. Right now the leaves are about 30 centimeters, maybe 1.5 feet, so they're quite small and quite easy to manage at this point. Later on in the summer, these leaves can get up to 1 meter big, and the plants themselves, when they're in flower, they can get 12 to 15 feet high.
Wild parsnips is also a poisonous plant that grows along the water banks. This flower is slightly smaller and is yellow with a thinner stem, but still, if you touch it, you could face some serious burns to your skin and again blindness if you get in contact with your eyes.
Here at this site we have both the giant hogweed and poison parsnip, or wild parsnip. And wild parsnip has the same properties as giant hogweed, but it's a much smaller plant and quite easily overlooked. So you really want to protect yourself from the wild parsnip as well. Wild parsnip is related to carrots, same as so the leaves are much smaller, much less aggressive looking, so it'll make your skin very sensitive to the sunlight, and you want to follow the same precautions as with giant hogweed. Wash the sap off. If you know you've been exposed, wash it off as soon as you can, even just in stream water, anything will help, and cover that area up. Make sure you don't expose that area that the sap touched to sunlight for at least 48 hours. That should prevent you from getting any severe burns.
For those who let their dogs run around, it's also important to make sure you wipe your dogs off and ensure that none of the sap has got on them, as it can transfer onto your skin. As well, you can look to dig up the plant, but they do have long roots and often will grow back. The best alternative is to use a herbicide, especially in extremely dense areas. For more information, you can go to conservationhalton.ca. For Halton Insider, I'm Kristen Demney.